I don't use any chords because of their theoretical purpose. Even as I'm explaining a lot of theoretical things right now, I don't use a chord because of a theoretical purpose. I explore chords because of a theoretical purpose as I'm learning them for the first time. You know, oh, playing a dominant chord as a sus chord, you can do that for a 5-1. I wonder what that sounds like. Then you try it. Oh, it turns out it sounds good. After that moment, I'm picking that chord based on experience. And you need to, I think the most important thing about music theory that I think a lot of people forget, even while I'm talking about it, is that I don't actually use music theory most of the time when I'm coming up with things. I don't use it. It doesn't enter my mind. There's sounds that are in my head and I use them. Somewhere along the way, though, I used theory to understand, learn, reinterpret, and develop a sound somewhere along the way. And then after that, experience takes over. You hear what you want to do and you do it in the same way that somewhere along the way, I learned all of the parts of speech of the words that I'm using. And that helped me learn how to write. I remember when I was in middle school and high school, I learned how to structure sentences and what a subject is and what a predicate is and what a noun is and what a verb is and what a pronoun is and an adjective and an adverb and all that. And it helped me learn how to write more effectively. But also, I don't think about any of that shit when I'm speaking. Maybe I should think of it more. Maybe I'm not as articulate as I could be. But, my grammar is not ideal most of the time. I love how I don't know if this sentence I just used is clunky or not. I really don't know. But anyway, the point is, theory is useful for certain things, but then at a certain point in time, you don't really need it to communicate all the time. You can also just, from experience, you just say what you need to say. And then occasionally you can brush up on stuff. But anyway, most of the time I don't use music theory when I'm coming up with things. However, I do use music theory to enhance sometimes an idea and to make it cleaner, make it more effective. And it's like a creative tool. It's like, oh man, I need to get from point A to point G. How can I do that? Well, I could go here, 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 here. Now I've got options. I've got like 10 different things that I can choose from just theoretically in my mind. But then I still have to pick one based on what my experience tells me. I experience the sound. I see if I like it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. Oh, well, but Kiefer, theoretically, it should work. No, if I don't like it, then I'm not going to use it. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, I try so many chords and beats, and the ones that turn out good are literally like 2 chord beats. Yeah, that happens. That makes sense. Yeah, again, it's like the Steve Jobs quote I think about all the time. Engineers make the worst designers. Engineers are just cobbling together all the coolest things, the things that they think are cool, and throwing it together into a product, regardless of whether or not the person who's going to buy the product even knows how to use a fucking computer. This is like back in the 80s when people didn't know how to use computers necessarily. Versus a designer who looks at what a person needs and then makes the product so the person understands what it's for. And we do this all the time in music. Sometimes people get really excited about all these new chords that they're learning, but they haven't really had enough experience yet, and they're just like throwing shit together. And then they're like, hey, like, why doesn't this sound good? 5-1 is supposed to sound good. And it's like, well, you have to go a little further than that. You have to, develop some experience. Maybe what I'm saying is like, maybe this is like a little bit too high level, because I do think early on you do want to just throw things together. You do just want to experiment a lot, get that experience. The point is, in the future, at some point, the theory needs to take a back seat to your experience. I think early on, music theory is really useful. Obviously, you just have to remember it's a means to an end. That's my point. Anyway.